Vice President Leni Robredo gives President Rodrigo Duterte's government a dismal 1 out of 100 score in its flagship program to fight illegal drugs. Robredo finally reveals on Monday, January 6, her findings during her 18-day stint as co-chair of the Interagency Committee on Anti-Illegal Drugs or ICAD in late 2019.
Failure siya. Dahil yung kampanya laban sa illegal na droga, maraming aspeto ito. Maraming aspeto at nakikita natin, gaya ng sinabi ko sa report, na masyado lang natutukan yung state level enforcement. Yung pagtugis sa mga maliliit na mga pushers at users.
Robredo says data from Police Drug Enforcement Group showed drug addicts consume 3,000 kilos of shabu every week across the country, or about 156,000 kilos every year. But the Philippine Drug Enforcement Agency or PDEA was able to seize just 1,344 kilos of shabu from January to October 2019. The Vice President also says that 3,000 kilos of shabu consumed per week is equivalent to about 25 billion pesos a week or 1.3 trillion pesos a year. But the Anti-Money Laundering Council was only able to seize 1.4 billion pesos worth of drug money from 2017 to 2018. She also recommends the Dangerous Drugs Board or GDB is better suited to head the ICAD than PDEA.
Ang DDB ang mas may kakayahang magplano ng pangkalahatang mga programa kung saan tutulong ang bawat miyembro ng ICAD. Kung sila ang pinuno ng ICAD, magiging mas balanse ang kampanya at lahat ng aspeto ay matutugunan.
Tension between Robredo and PDEA chief Aaron Aquino was palpable, with Aquino previously saying the vice president would fail if she would helm efforts to combat drugs. In the same press conference, Robredo once again calls for the end of Oplan Tokhang, where police literally knock on the doors of suspected drug users and dealers to ask them to stop their habit or trade. Drug war implementer and now Senator Bato de la Rosa says, quote, maybe she selects only the data that destroys the image of the government, and she didn't want the data that paints a good image of the government. Presidential spokesperson Salvador Panelo says Robredo's report is a dud.
Lagay ko yung failure, yung pag-upo niya. When she was threatening this report, she implied na meron siyang mga nandiscovering irregularidad, nakakala mo'y bombang sasabog sa mukha. It's a dud.
Senate President and former DDB head Tito Soto says Robredo's report had valid points. He also says, quote, war versus drugs fails only when you stop fighting. It's a constant battle versus drug dealers, drug dependents, corrupt officials, and cerebrally challenged critics. President Duterte designated Robredo as ICAD co-chair after she said the drug war has to be tweaked because it is not working. But he fired Robredo from the post 18 days after she accepted the job, saying he could not trust her. A Mandaluyong City Court issues a 72-hour temporary restraining order or TRO against the cap on motorcycle taxi riders on Monday, January 6. The court finds the issuance of a 72-hour TRO against the cap as urgently needed, since the cap would impair the rights of the bikers to continue their contract with Angkas. Angkas calls this decision an initial victory for their riders who were rendered jobless by the new cap. For the motorcycle taxi pilot run extension, the rider cap was reduced from 27,000 for the sole provider Angkas to 13,000 for each of the 3 motorcycle taxi providers, Angkas, Joyride, and Move It. The partner of a political prisoner files a complaint Monday, January 6 over the degrading strip search and cavity search she experienced at the new Bilibid prison, or NBP. Jimmy Lisa Badayes recalls 2 officers who asked her to remove her clothes and bend while a mirror was placed in between her thighs on December 29, 2019. She adds, "We are humans too, and we deserve respect." She says she just followed because she wanted to see her partner, Calixto Vestal, detained in the NBP since 2013. Rule 60 of the Standard Minimum Rules for the Treatment of Prisoners set by the United Nations says, search and entry procedures for visitors shall not be degrading, and that body cavity searches should be avoided. Complaints over extensive searches are just one of the issues hounding the Bureau of Corrections in the aftermath of the Good Conduct Time Allowance crisis and amid reports of illegal drugs inside Bilibid. Metro Manila Police Chief Debold Sinas says more than 2,000 policemen will barricade the carriage of the Nazareno for the procession on Thursday, January 9. He says this is in a bid to facilitate the carriage's movement and quicken the procession's pace.
Because of the so many perceived threats, walang actual threat perceived threats, kaya natin mamadaliin. So ang gagawin namin, lahat na from point 1 up to doon sa pinakadulo, may mga police na yan to prevent the crowd na mag-standby doon sa dadaanan ng andas.
Police will be stationed at the front of the Nazareno's carriage and at the sides of the procession, and going closer and climbing the carriage will still be allowed but only from the rear. The Feast of the Black Nazarene festivities culminate in the yearly Traslacion, the procession that takes the statue of the Black Nazarene from Quirino Grandstand to Quiapo Church. 2019's Traslacion lasted 21 hours. Genre-bending Korean film Parasite wins the Golden Globe for Best Foreign Language Film Monday, January 6 in Beverly Hills, California. Director Bong Joon-ho clocks in a win over a quote, 1-inch-tall barrier subtitles. He says in his acceptance speech Monday, January 6, "Once you overcome the 1-inch-tall barrier of subtitles, you will be introduced to so many more amazing films. I think we only use one language, the cinema." Parasite won the Palme d'Or at the 2019 Cannes Film Festival and has been featured in various Best of lists, both for 2019 and the decade. Other winners for the 2020 Golden Globes include 1917 for Best Drama Film, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood for Best Musical or Comedy Film, Joaquin Phoenix of Joker for Best Drama Actor, Renee Zellweger of Judy for Best Drama Actress, Taron Egerton of Rocketman for Best Musical or Comedy Actor, Awkwafina of The Farewell for Best Musical or Comedy Actress and Sam Mendes of 1917 for Best Director. Noah Baumbach's Marriage Story, a Netflix original, is this year's most nominated film with 6 nominations including Best Drama Film.